All right, what is up, Utah fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest. And Utah just went into Morgantown and made a huge statement. At the time I'm recording this video, there's about 10 minutes left in the game. It's 41-7, and the Utah Utes really put on a dominant performance. Bird Ficklin got to get in and lead a couple drives and get his feet wet. That's how dominant it was when we started the fourth quarter. The win was clearly in hand. So as much as the stats after that do matter, I think what we're going to want to look at is everything before the fourth quarter. So really dominant performance by Utah and really impressive all around by the team. A ton of good performances, but more importantly, guys, the offense came to play and showed up in a huge way. One thing that I think was creeping into all of our minds was if the offense is what we saw against Texas Tech, we've all, as Utah fans, probably experienced a few seasons recently where it doesn't matter how good your defense is. If your offense has no life, it doesn't matter. And our offense proved today they not only have life, but they can be an explosive, high-powered, dynamic offense that can put up serious points, guys. 41 points today. Really impressive stuff. I'm excited to dive into it. We're gonna give shout outs to guys that deserved it and earned it. I'm excited. Um, I'm excited. Anyways, like the video, comment down below. I want to know what you guys are thinking, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We put out a pregame breakdown before every game and a postgame recap after every game, and I try to keep things pretty analytical while also giving my opinions. And I think I keep it pretty unbiased, pretty fair. So make sure you guys stick around if you enjoy that. And on that note, let's go ahead and dive in and go Utes. Okay, guys, and I think the number one best place to start is going to be with the quarterback for Utah, Devin Dampier. He put on a show, and um, these stats don't even reflect just how dominant the performance was because we were up to a 28-0 lead pretty early in the game. I believe it was even 35-0 at one point. Yeah, it was. I believe it was 35-0 at one point. It was a really dominant performance. Devin Dampier, 21 for 26, 237 yards through the air, four touchdowns through the air, and one interception. On top of that, he rushed the ball 11 times for 33 yards and one touchdown. He looked really good. I think in the Texas Tech game, obviously afterwards there was a lot of injury rumors, but you guys kind of know how that goes if you're a football fan. Coaches will blame a lot on injuries post game. Uh, but either way, I think Devin Dampier really made a statement and showed a lot of what we were hoping to see in this game. Seriously, really impressive performance. He had that one terrible interception, but I'd say outside of that one, like it was just an awful throw. I don't know what happened there. But outside of that, it was a near perfect game. I mean, you're talking about a guy that went 80% completion percentage, and really just drove this offense down the field. Today, it felt like we had a real quarterback that could take us very far in the college football landscape this season. I don't know exactly what that means, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, West Virginia wasn't that good. Well, if you guys watched the pregame breakdown heading into this game, West Virginia is was not some trash defense. I mean, they were bringing a squad. The PFF grades were high. Their pressure rate was through the roof. And if you look, there was a lot of times where the pressure did get back there, but Devin Dampier just stepped up in the pocket, made a play, broke a tackle, made a guy miss, and looked just easy doing it. Just smooth, relaxed, dynamic, making plays when he had to. I like his stat line's very impressive, but it doesn't tell the story of just how crazy this game was for him. There was heading into halftime, he was tracking to have 368 yards and eight touchdowns. That's how much of an impact Devin Dampier made on this freaking game. Really impressive stuff from that guy. Couldn't be happier with what we saw today from Devin Dampier. Okay, another guy that I'm going to give a shout out to that I really think deserves it is going to be Ryan Davis, right? Ryan Davis really stood out today. 7 receptions, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. And it's funny if you guys watch the pregame, I talked about it heading into this game that we needed Ryan Davis. Like, if you're going to be a short yardage guy, that's absolutely okay. There's a lot of great short yardage wide receivers, right? It's Deshaun Jackson made a lot of his money in the short yardage. Wes Welker was a great short yardage receiver. Those are two that pop to mind, but there's long, long lists of playmakers that catch the ball short. Percy Harvin's a great example, a guy that just, catches the ball short and makes plays. Anyways, Ryan Davis today, though, he showed that he can do it because he wasn't just catching the short passes. He was catching the short passes and turning them upfield, breaking tackles, making guys miss. And he's only listed as having 1 touchdown, but there was another touchdown that he literally like slipped and fell at the 1 yard line. He had a really impressive day again, 7 catches for 107 yards against a strong defense. And I would say he really stood out to me as a guy that impressed and made a big impact on this game. So Ryan Davis, big day for him. Dallin Bentley as well. It felt like he was making so many great plays. He had 5 catches for 59 yards, 1 touchdown, and was just kind of all over the place. A lot of first downs. Like it just felt like he was such a reliable target and was making big plays in the passing game. Clearly, one of the favorite connections for Devin Dampier. So you love to see that. Um, Another guy that I thought really stood out in the passing game was JJ Buchanan. He's listed at 3 receptions for 32 yards and 1 touchdown. So he had a really big day, definitely. But more than that, he had another one where he got open. He's probably catching a touchdown. And the safety, who I called out that safety as a weak point, Tarnu. His coverage grade was terrible, and I was talking about how hopefully we take advantage of that. So you know, called that one. Anyways, though, Buchanan like should have had another touchdown. It was just an egregious pass interference. And a side note, Buchanan is coming on as a deadly contested catch wide receiver. Seriously, looks just um, really talented and like a guy that can really make an impact through the receiving game. I was very impressed with what we saw today from Buchanan, where it was like, hey, Hunter Andrews is out for the season now. We need guys to step up in the receiving game, and Buchanan and Dampier were hooking up really well in that regard. Uh, Other guys that did look good in the receiving game. Wayshawn Parker, 2 catches for 21 yards and a touchdown. He had that play where they said he stepped out of bounds. They threw a flag. They reviewed it. He was in bounds and he was all good. But 4 different receivers had a touchdown. Wayshawn Parker, JJ Buchanan, Dallin Bentley, and Ryan Davis. Also, Larry Simmons with a monster 41-yard catch. Huge play by him today. So very impressive guys. I think we definitely saw a passing offense that we just hadn't seen before, and the Larry Simmons catch was with Bird Ficklin. So Bird Ficklin, another guy that just happened as I'm making the video. So huge play by Larry Simmons. That's good to see. And just a side note, the game's not over, and Bird Ficklin has only gotten so much time to play, but he looks very good. Right now, he's 1 for 1 for 41 yards, just one giant play to Larry Simmons. And then he's also got on the ground 4 carries for 9 yards. I would just say Bird Ficklin looks like a guy where if, God forbid, Devin Dampier's out for a game and Bird has to go in there and run, win us a game or two against a decent opponent, I wouldn't feel unconfident, and I feel like the future looks very bright with Bird Ficklin. So that's a really good sign, guys. I'm excited about that. Um, I think that's about it for me when it comes to the passing attack as of right now. Who really impressed in this game? So good work there. I think our passing game looked head and shoulders above anything we've seen. Very impressed, and I'm excited to see how we follow this up next week against Arizona State. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the rushing attack for Utah and who stood out there, because I think our rushing attack actually outperformed my expectations for them by, you know, pretty wide margin. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and talk about just how impressive that unit was as well. Okay, guys, now we're talking about the rushing attack for Utah in this West Virginia game. Seriously, guys, nasty stuff here running the ball. We dominated the trenches on offense. 239 yards, 46 carries for 239 yards, 5.2 yards a carry. And this was a pretty good rushing defense. Let me give you guys the numbers that West Virginia was looking at heading into this game because I think that'll impress you guys quite a bit here. So rushing defense, they were only allowing 4 yards per carry, and 162.3 rushing yards per game. And don't forget, this was at home for West Virginia. And we went in there, and at this moment, we're going to probably get more rushing yards before it's over, but we have 242 rushing yards, 5.1 yards a carry, and one touchdown on the ground. I think the guy that really stood out for me in the rushing attack today is Wayshawn Parker. He ran with physicality. He showed explosiveness. He showed speed. 9 carries, 66 yards. And I think one of the most impressive things about the running back room in general is we just spread it out. I mean, there's one, two, three, four, five, six guys with 3+ carries. Five of those guys have 5+ carries. So really just the rushing attack. We're hitting them from so many different angles. Nikari Rogers also had a very good day, broke a few tackles. I called out this running back room heading into the game and it feels like that might have happened behind the scenes with the coaching staff as well. The rushing attack only broke 3 tackles the entire game last game, and that's just not going to win you games, guys. Like you had 30 rushing attempts or 4 tackles, sorry, but you have 4 tackles on 30 rushing attempts. That's not going to get it done, and they showed up today. The missed tackle numbers aren't out yet, but I'm sure they're going to be very high. I would guess in the 15 plus to 20 range. It was really a dominant running performance. We almost ran. We've thrown for 288 yards so far at the time of this video, and we've ran for 242 yards. So almost as many yards. So we're well over 500 yards at this point, and probably going to get close to 550 before it's all said and done. So very, very impressive performance. The rushing attack, Jackson Benny had a really nice run. On a side note, he seems to be injured. He didn't return to the game. We did have a decent lead in that game, so hopefully that means that he will be back. And it's just they're resting him. They didn't want to roll the dice with him. Um, let's move on to defense. So defense, we had Lander Barton, Jonah Laia, Jonathan Hall, John Henry Daly, each with 7+ tackles. Um, and Jonathan Hall again with 5 solo tackles and a pass deflection. John Henry Daly with a tackle for a loss. Seriously, really impressive game by the defense. I think as the game got going, you did start to see our defense allow some more big plays from their offense, but I think a little bit of that was just some fatigue, right? Just kind of being worn down as the game gets going. Don't forget, a defense like over time does wear down throughout the game. Um, looks looked very good overall. I think there was some trench battles I wish we would have done a little better on in the defense, and I didn't love how late in the game when it wasn't a game really anymore. But late in the game, it felt like we were letting them get a lot of second effort plays. Oh, hey, one other thing I do want to call out on offense, rushing the ball, was Daniel Bray, the running back, number 13. Ooh, did that kid look good? I really hope we can work him in more as the season gets going. I know he looks kind of small, but he was also a guy I remember making his recruiting video, and he was a very exciting prospect. But he looks very dynamic, very electric, very fast when the ball's in his hands. I think we should, find creative ways to get him in there and work him into that rotation, especially as the season keeps going, because he looked really good. It looks like Utah scored again. It's 48-14 now. Bird Ficklin, 53 yards, 4 for 4, one touchdown. I think has Bird Ficklin thrown any incompletions on the season? He looks very good. Really, guys, just a masterpiece performance. Like I mentioned, I think the defense um, could have done a little more towards the end of the game to not let so many second effort runs become first downs, but that is a little nitpicky. The defense overall made the offense for West Virginia look quite bad. And another call out in defense of the defense is that same thing that happened last week that we were, doing so well that for one reason or another they have to bring in their backup quarterback. And it is like, especially with a team that's so discipline focused, so fundamental focused, it is tough to play against a different level of player or like a different style of player, a different guy that you haven't prepared for. And when you have a guy you haven't game planned around, it is tough to adjust everything. And so you can kind of see that time and time again, right, guys? When you have all of a sudden you're playing against a quarterback you didn't prepare for, like Will Hammond, and then like Khalil Wilkins in this game, the defense struggles to adjust because they're not prepared, right, for that specific guy. So is what it is there. What a dominant performance, guys, from beginning to end. So many great plays. Looks like Bryce Duke was the one that caught that last touchdown. Uh, two catches for six yards for that guy. Um, Looks strong performance, guys. You look at the West Virginia stat line. It's pretty rough. Let's go ahead and pull up both teams as this game closes out. It's 145 left in the game. Um, it's let's see, team stats. Okay, so 145 left in the game. This should be about all she wrote. It might change a little from here. But Utah 532 total yards, only one turnover, 33 first downs, um, 8 for 13 on third down. And when Devin Dampier was actually in, I believe we were almost perfect on third down. We had 34 minutes, almost 35 minutes time of possession. Looked great, guys. I'm excited to see the PFF numbers come in and really get a look at everything. Outside of that, I think we had a great performance. I'm going to get out of here. Like the video, comment down below, subscribe, and go Utes.